Hello everyone and welcome back to another episode of AI series. So in previous video we had seen how we can utilize pre-built model to read or extract data from a sales receipt, and in this video we will learn how we can create our own machine learning model, train it and then extract information from a sales receipt. So when I'm saying custom model, it means it is completely tailored to meet specific need or say a specific use case. And to perform this activity, we need to perform four major steps. So the first one is the creating the training data set. Now for creating the training data set, we need at least 5 documents of same type. So let's say if we are planning to analyze the receipt or read data from a receipt, then we need 5 samples of receipt. If we are planning to extract data from a business card, then we need 5 sample business cards so that we can use it as a training data set. Now, once we collected the data, next thing we need to decide is whether we would like to go for the supervised learning or unsupervised learning. In case of supervised learning, we have to label our training data, which means along with the training data and the sample documents, we need to upload the OCR as well as labeling information. So in this video, I will walk you through the supervised learning path. Now for labeling, if you have any other tool, you can go ahead and do it. But in this demo, I will be using a form recognizer sample labeling tool, which is available online on the Food website. Now, again, for creating the using the document as a training data set, the document spec, size, format, everything has to be met, and that you can get the information on the website itself, the MSDN documentation itself. And once that part is done, we need to go ahead and upload our training dataset to one place. And for uploading the data, I am using the Azure account. And in Blob, we will be storing all our images. Once images are uploaded, training set is ready. Next, we need to go ahead and train our model. And then we can perform the analysis. Now, when we are saying training, it means definitely in one shot, we cannot train it. We will do iteration, more and more iteration until we receive the required threshold. So let's say if we train the model 5 times and still our accuracy of the model is 20% or say 30%, in that case, we may need to think about how we can improvise it. Maybe we need to take better documents. Maybe we need to increase the training data set, and accordingly we can take decisions. But how many iterations need to be performed, there is no thumb rule on that. We can go as many as we want. So having said that, let's go and work on this practical example. So I'm on my Azure portal over here, and here you need to create one storage account and you need a form recognizer resource. So if you're not sure how to do it, I would recommend you to go back and watch my previous videos. In that I have clearly explained how to create key values and the endpoint for your form recognizer resource. So here I am inside my Azure storage, and I'm going here and going to container, and here I will go ahead and create a new container and will label it receipt for analysis. Click on create. Okay, and inside this container I will go ahead and upload all the 5 documents which I have taken. So these are the 5 images which I am planning to use as a training set. Okay, so let's refresh it, and now you can see that all the images are appearing over here. Now we are done with data collection part. Next comes the training part. So for training, we need to go and log in onto the FORT website, which is fort.azurewebsites.net. And once you are on this website, you can see that I believe there is no need to log in or anything. It just needs a credential which we can supply it without doing any login. So this is the website, and here you can see new project. Click on this one, provide some name. I can provide my receipt analyzer. Next is generating a token. So if you have any, you can select it. But in this demo, I will take it from the scratch. So generate new security token. Coming on to the connection, so click on add connection, and here I can say my connection name. And this is one of the important parameters, SaaS URI. Now for obtaining the SaaS URI, you must have a blob container. And here I can go to storage account, and on left hand side you can say storage explorer, which is in preview. Click on that, and inside blob container I will select the one which we recently created and click on get shared access signature. Now here, if you are not sure what all needs to be selected, then maybe you can go ahead, click on create, and it will show you error whenever you are creating a connection. But in my case, I am pretty sure, so I am selecting those. URI, I will copy it from here and will simply paste it over here. Save connection. Well, connection is successful. Go back to the project, and you can see that it is auto-populated in the source connection. Next comes the folder path. So if you are uploading your image in blob as a folder hierarchy, then that path has to be mentioned here. Next comes the form recognizer URI. So I will go to this resource. This is my form recognizer resource, and key and endpoints. I will copy this one and will paste it over here. Again, coming on to the API key, I will be taking the first key and place it over here. Click on save project. Project is saved successfully. Now project is saved successfully. So here you can see that all the 5 documents are uploaded over here, and we can see that these were the 5 receipts which we placed inside the blob. So let's click on one of these, and as soon as you will click, it will try to run the OCR. But now you can see read, write, list and delete permission, and this is the permission I was talking. So read, write, list and delete has to be mandatory provided on this. So I will go ahead and read, write, delete and list. And if you want, you can provide other permissions also, but let's go with what is the minimal permissions that we need. So now again we have to go back and update our connection string. Save it, go here, icon, and here name we have to provide it. So I will provide my analysis project. Form recognizer, it is getting from here. I will quickly copy this key back and place it over here. So if everything went well, then we should not get the error. Now this time you can see that all the required permissions were given, so no error was there. Now all the 5 receipts are loaded over here, and you can see there is an orange mark which is saying it is visited. So whenever we are clicking any of these, it will run OCR and will identify these rectangles in the area you can see yellow color marked. So these are the text which is identified, and if you want to change it and if you're not satisfied, definitely you can go ahead and remove those or you can change it. So this thing we have done, we have already did the OCR for ran the OCR for one. So let me show you what happens in our blob. So go here and you will see that now a new file got added here with an extension JSON, so OCR.json. It means we have already ran the OCR for the K1 image. Similarly, we will quickly do this for rest all images. Right now I'm going with the default, but if you want, you can definitely go ahead and change these markings. So I believe we are done with all 5. Let's quickly go ahead and verify it. Sometimes it takes few seconds, but it is done over here. Okay. Now next thing is we are done with OCR. Next thing is we need to label those images. Now for labeling, first we need to tag it. So you can see that on the right hand side, add new tag. So you can choose any of these receipt. I am starting with the first one and here. Now what all things you need to analyze? Do you want to analyze amount? Do you want to analyze merchant name, phone number, address, the items, description? Whatever you want, you can just add it as a tag here. And if you are doing for the first time and you are not sure what are the valid tags, I would suggest you to go back to the documentation, and here you can see that these all are the valid fields which we can extract it. So let's go with the common ones. So I am taking merchant name, adding it over here. We can also go with the phone number, merchant phone number. Let's go here. We can go with the total amount. So rather than going with all of these, I'm just selecting few, and let's go with the transaction date. So to keep this demo short and quick, let's go with only these four. Now we have identified that these are the four things which we will be analyzing or which we are looking forward in any receipt. So these we identified. Next we need to label those. So whenever such thing comes up on top, I want this to be tagged as a merchant name. So select this and click on the merchant name on the right side. You can see that here it got added under the merchant name. Similarly, we can go for the phone number. So let's select this entire line and click on the right side merchant phone number. Go with the total, and similar thing we will do with the transaction date. Perfect. So I have done with the one receipt. Next we will repeat the same thing for all the four receipts. And before proceeding, you can see on the left hand side there's a green tick mark now. Earlier it was yellow which was showing visited, and now it is showing green. It means these are tagged. And as soon as image is tagged, you will see that another file got added over here. Let's refresh it, which is labels.json. And these are the two files which we need whenever we are working with the supervised learning models. So K1 is the actual document, labels.json is the one which is holding labels, and OCR is the one which is holding all the coordinates and the areas. So let's quickly perform the same activity for rest all receipts. So I'm selecting total, I'm selecting the transaction date, placing it over here. Next we will go and do this. Phone number I can select. Total amount is over here, which is total, and the transaction date, which is over. You can see that the transaction date is in different format altogether in all the receipts. And one more thing I can show you, maybe it would be useful in some of your scenarios. So if you want, you can also provide the data types. So I know that merchant name is always going to be the string, so I can mention it as a string. The total, I know it's always going to be the number, so I will go ahead and set it as a number. So it's totally optional if you will not give. By default, model will take it as per the data. So this is how you can do it. Let's go ahead and do it for the last one. Phone number, then the total amount, and comes the transaction date. And up to the last one, merchant name, date, phone number over here, and the total amount, which is 53.29. Perfect. So we are done with our labeling part. Next comes the training. So to train a model, you can see that on the left hand side there is a train icon. So click on that and then click on this green button, train. So it started using our files, and now you can see that it identifies 60% times correct merchant name, 20% the phone number, then total 60% times, and the overall accuracy of this model is 45%. Now again, if you need to increase it, and of course we need to increase this because we cannot go with the accuracy of 45%, so it means we may need to provide more sample receipts, or we may need to relook into the way we did labeling, or we may need to look into the way how we have drawn the rectangle boxes or the coordinates. So by doing that we can do it, and you can keep the run between this training and the labeling part. So any number of time we can do it, but I'm just going with the one because idea is to just showcase how we can achieve the goal. So let's say I want to achieve only 45%. So our model is ready, training is done. Next, we need to use this model to re-extract data from our receipt. So for that, I have already written few lines of Python code over here. So these three are for importing the modules. And here we need three key information. So endpoint is the one which is of form recognizer. Let's go here and place it. Then comes the key. And next is the model ID. So model ID, we need to grab it from here. Now again, if you're doing it for training for the 4 or 5 times, you may have 5 different model IDs. So it's totally up to you which one do you want to consider for analysis. So I'm going with this one. Now here is the post URL, and before moving ahead, I would like to tell you that whenever we are using custom models, we need to make a 2 calls. So first API call would be to grab the operation location, and second would be to make the actual analysis call. Now for grabbing the operation location, we need an endpoint and the model ID as a parameter over here. So this would construct our post URL. Next is the image which you want to analyze. So I'm taking here one of the image. We need to set the header. So in my case, I have taken all the images as JPEG format. So you can do it. If it is your PDF, you need to mention this content type accordingly. We are reading this image file in a binary mode. And here we are making it as a post call. So if everything went well, status code is perfectly all right, then we can extract the header operation location and store it in this variable. And this is the variable which we are going to use as a parameter for our next GET request. So this is the second API call which I was talking about. Key is the same and GET URL is the operation location. And here also, if everything went well, then we can get our response inside the json.dumps file. So let's quickly go ahead and run it and see how things work. Okay, our operation is successful and I will run it this portion also. Okay, so on the bottom you can say that this operation is also successful and this is the response we have received. And in the response you can search for the tags which we have created. So first one is the phone number. So you can see that for phone number the value it identifies is this one. So if you want, you can go with the bounding boxes, anything if you need, but mostly we need this particular thing as well as the confidence score. So here confidence score is 1. 1 means 100%. The model is 100% sure that this is the phone number. Similarly, we can have a look for other fields like merchant name. So merchant name, it is saying as Coles. And again, confidence score is quite good, which is 1. Amount total, which is 35.19 with the confidence score of 1. It means we trained a receipt with the calls, and when we tried with the same kind of receipt, it identified almost every information perfectly all right. Now let's give a try to analyze, use this model to analyze a receipt which we didn't use as our training. So here I am taking a receipt of So this is the image which is having altogether different receipt format and we didn't use it in our training. So let's see how model respond to this. So is it still running? Okay, it's an issue with my kernel, so I need to switch it. Just give it a couple of seconds. I need to switch my kernel to Conda and let's see. It is still updating, so we may need to wait for a few more seconds. Okay, so now the operation is successful and we'll quickly run this one. And this time let's see what happens, and I can also show you the receipt format. So this is the format of the receipt. So you can see that everything is very close. Even there is additional text over here, and so many additional fields are here. So let's see how our model treats this. Now, first of all, I will look at the merchant name, which is here. And you can see that it is saying merchant name is Fredmere Fresh for. And the confidence score for this is 93. So 93% is the confidence score. But if you will notice here, this is not exactly what we are expecting. Right, so I'll close this one. Okay, so let's open this side by side. So you can see that actually my merchant name is just a Fredmere, but it is also reading the text which is close to it. And that's the reason my confidence score is also not 100%. Now let's try one more thing. Let's go with the total. So total it is saying 18.4 and the confidence score is just 0.43. Let's have a look. Again, that number is wrong because my total is something else. It's just 30.39. And here it is just giving me this. It means it is reading some other figure rather than what we are expecting. So here what we can conclude is, if we want to analyze such kind of receipt in future from this merchant, then we need similar samples as part of our data set. And once we fed that as a data set, training data set, and retain the model, we can definitely get a better confidence level and the score. So that's all I have for today. I hope you enjoyed learning this custom model, and thanks for watching.